Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Foxy98 here. Welcome back to a brand new video for you guys today here on the channel. Today we're here with my F1 2019 career mode for you guys today. We're here for the Hungarian Grand Prix, round number 12 of the season. And as you can see, we're just going through and sorting out a couple of bits here. And as you can see, so far then in terms of the R&D tree, we're currently waiting for a major engine power upgrade to arrive, hopefully for the Belgian Grand Prix, or maybe the Italian Grand Prix, one of the two. And as you can see, we haven't really been doing much work in the aerodynamic department, and it's definitely a department that I'm going to be looking at, especially if that major engine upgrade comes into effect. I'll probably end up leaving that alone. Maybe just, sorting out one or two little bits here and there, and then also I'll be waiting for Singapore, where that's most likely where you get a potential rules and regulations change. Moving on then into qualifying itself, and as you can see, it's actually a wet qualifying for us. And the last time we had a wet qualifying session, it was extremely good for us because we were on pole position at the British Grand Prix. So let's see how we get on here. We come across the line set 35.0, which was much faster than Lewis Hamilton, but eventually all drivers improved and we qualified in P6. But at the end of the day, we got ourselves out of Q1, and that's all we could ask for. Lucas Weber there. I've kind of forgotten that he's in this series at the moment. Like, he's just not there. I only see Devin Bullsack. I don't see anyone else. So, yeah, it's quite interesting. Moving on, though, into Q2 then, and as you can see, it has now changed into intermediate conditions, so we're going out on the inters instead, and once again here, Verstappen is the man that I'm trying to look for, and as we come towards the start-finish line now, his 133.5 is quickly eclipsed by my 132.0, kind of showcasing how OP we are in the wet, but like I said again, both Mercedes and Red Bulls improved, and we end up 0.4 of a second down. Both Ferraris, surprisingly, behind or splitting in a big Ferrari-McLaren sandwich there. So quite interesting, but that's the way we're going to go. Moving on into Q3, so my first lap, which you're watching right now, I actually made a mistake into towards the first corner. So this lap was actually kind of just like a little bit of a banker lap to see what we could do. Is Vettel there with 132.1. That's a really competitive lap time, because that's just 1/10 of a second down from what I did in Q2 last time around. But as you can see, this time around, though, we're over 2 seconds up on our personal best lap because, of course, we gained so much time in that first sector. And just overall on the lap, we just gained a lot of time now. So as we come flying down the straight here towards the start-finish line, it's a 130.925, which I believe is very similar to what I did in Q2. And I thought that was going to be enough, but just at the final lap there, Sebastian Vettel has nicked pole position by 1/100th of a second, only 4/100ths of a second clear as Charles Leclerc as well. I thought that my one run would be good enough. I didn't go out for a second run. If I did, might have just got another pole position, but hey-ho.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. What was the secret of your qualifying pace?
I like it wet.
How do you feel this season is going for you? Is the car competitive?
Car's crap, I'm amazing though.
How does a car perform in these conditions? Is it an advantage
Stick
or
on
a
some
disadvantage?
intermediates and I don't even notice the rain.
Appreciate your time.
Well, there we go then. So, as you can see then, in terms of the rivalries as well, we're actually getting closer now to beating Lando Norris in our rivalry for the second time now. Devin Bullsack, we're getting halfway there to completing that rivalry against him. Yeah, really good qualifying session. The pace was okay in the dry when I was doing it in practice. Obviously, I'm not going to beat Mercedes and Ferrari. That's a fact. Yeah, we'll just have to see how we get on. But yeah, without further ado, guys, let's get into the race for the Hungarian Grand Prix.
It's always wonderful to come back to the lively Hungaro ring. A popular destination this, nice and close to the beautiful city of Budapest, with some exciting racing to boot. Who can forget Michael Schumacher pushing his old teammate Rubens Barrichello up towards the pit wall in 2010, or those great races of 2014 and 2015 as well. We're northeast of Budapest for the race today at the 2.7-mile Hungaro ring circuit. 14 corners here, 8 to the right and 6 to the left, on a track where downforce is king and passing is notoriously difficult. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is Anthony Davidson. Why don't we discuss McLaren? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And Thomas completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Hamilton, Max Verstappen and Bottas, Gasly, Norris, Butler and Carlos Sainz, Raikkonen, Magnussen, Sergio Perez and Grosjean. Hulkenberg, Weber, George Russell and Antonio Giovinazzi. Albon and Robert Kubica takes the last spot on the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Alright then, so we're here for the start of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and as you can see, it's going to be a two-stop race for us. We're going to start on a set of the soft tyres, go to two sets of medium tyres, and go from there. But as you can see, then we're on the grid then to start the Hungarian Grand Prix. Vettel going for the mediums to start this race. Then we've got 5 red lights here for the start of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and it's lights out when we go here to get the good start on the Hungarian Grand Prix. A decent getaway from us actually, but Vettel eventually will pull away in the opening phases of the lap, and you can see we start getting swamped a little bit now by the Ferraris as we go in towards turn 1. Dive it down the inside of Vettel and steal the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and we can move forward now with the soft tyres and power onwards now as we go in towards turn 2 here. Vettel and Hamilton now pressurising both of the Ferrari cars here. Charles Leclerc under some pressure, but Hamilton has to sit back, wait a little bit longer for his opportunity to pass both of those Ferraris. But an awesome start for us straight away now as we fly up the hill here, and it is myself ahead of Vettel and then ahead of Charles Leclerc, followed by Hamilton, Verstappen, Gasly, Bottas, then the Racing Point of Devon Bullsack, and then some other cars just in there behind. But as you can see then, it's a dream getaway for us, but obviously I was kind of expecting that. I am on the soft tyres, doing a different strategy, so with Vettel, his mediums will come into play very, very soon. But for now, let's take advantage while we've got it as we blast up through now into the middle sector here, going very wide though on the exit there, but it's not really going to compromise us too much. As you can see already, look at that, building that advantage over my rivals behind, who I'm actually focusing on, the likes of the Red Bulls, the Racing Points, and all of those. They're who I'm worried about. So to be honest, these two Ferrari cars, they can do what they want. At the end of the day, I have track position over those that matter. Round the final corner though, we lead the opening lap of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and I've got a little bit of an advantage against it as well, with 124.8, new fastest lap, Vettel 9 tenths behind, but eventually that's going to come down. Moving on to the end of lap 2 now, and Vettel and Leclerc have now started to ramp up their pace a little bit here. I'm running with a very high downforce setup, and I must say I really did compromise myself in a straight line in this racetrack. And as you can see here, this was my weakest sector. It was the first sector where it was all about power, as Vettel now comes flying through here in towards turn 1, and weirdly, he didn't actually break that. I thought he would have breezed past me at that point, so I kind of defended my position, not because I wanted to, but because he didn't really get as far alongside as I thought. So yeah, anyway, we're still defending against the Ferraris. Moving on to the end of lap 3 now. And at this stage of the Grand Prix, it was starting to become evidential that the rivals behind the two Ferraris were now closing up a little bit. So I was starting to form a bit of a train as my pace wasn't really there. But as you can see now, on the straight here, this is when DRS was enabled. And as you can see, I'm not even going to take a defensive position this time around because DRS is now enabled. The Ferraris will be even faster down the straight. As we go in towards the first corner though, again, all I did was go around the outside. I wasn't defending my position. It's just Vettel didn't pass me when I wanted him to. So we're still in front of the Ferraris at the end of the 4th lap. But compared to Silverstone, where you've got to defend for 26 laps, I'm not going to defend for 35 laps, especially when my pace is that bad. And yeah, I think I was running with 8 wings, and that was too much, basically. So as you can see here, Vettel absolutely breezes past in the Ferrari with the DRS. Charles Leclerc is now coming at me with DRS as well. But again, in towards the first corner, going around the outside. Like I said, it looks like I'm trying to defend my position against these guys, and I could just lift off the throttle, but at the end of the day, that would compromise me. So I'm just going to do what doesn't compromise me. It may compromise the other guys. Like, I've literally just given Vettel a complete leeway now to blast away clear from the rest of the pack. As Charles Leclerc now goes for a run here up the hill now in towards turn 4. He actually makes contact with myself there. That compromises my line. I have to go wide on the exit there. Completely unintentional, but Charles just banged into my tyres, so I had no control going up towards turn 4, so I had to cut the corner there to take evasive action. But as you can see on the end of lap 5 now, bad exit off the final corner there. And this time now, Charles with the DRS here goes past. And like I said, I'm not really that concerned as we follow on now. And we're going to follow on for a little bit with the helicopter cam because it was going on for a little bit and it was kind of cool. So I wanted to follow along with it. So as you can see then, Vettel has already begun to pull away, so there he goes. The two Ferraris are in a class of their own in this season, and as you can see now, as they fly on through, it is myself now in front of Lewis Hamilton, but Hamilton's got a great drive here on the exit of turn 3, might just get the run up towards turn 4 now, has a little look, but he's just too far back, can't quite play with that one just yet, as we now go through the trees and round the other side, there we are. And I decided on this lap as well, I am actually going to box for my first set of medium tyres because I just don't see the point in me constantly running with these front lot. I might as well just get myself into clean air, leave these guys to have some clean air as well, because at the end of the day I realised that yes, I was holding my position against these guys and I was doing a decent job of it, but at the end of the day, in terms of overall track spread, there was just no spread in the pack because of course I'm bunching them up. And of course then everyone's being bunched up behind that, and you can see the domino effect there. So if I come into the pits now about a lap or two early, that's just going to allow just 1, maybe 2 laps just for the AIs to spread out a little bit, just to build that little gap that I can then start to bring myself into. So we're coming around now into the pits. You can see there that the Mercedes and the Red Bull cars can fly on through, get on their way. You can see Bottas there, you can see that little gap that he's got over the racing point, and then my teammate as well. So for me, let's just come into the pits now, build that gap, and then eventually when the pit stops happen, there's always gaps that form anyway, so I might as well use that as my advantage. We're coming now for our first set of medium tyres, and we're going to take these to about lap 20, 21, and as soon as we get to about that stage, we'll come in for another set of mediums then, and take those to the end of the race. So that's kind of the plan. I think we're one of, in terms of like the front, the midfield teams, I think everyone's doing the 2-stop like myself. It's only that I know of Hamilton and Vettel that are doing the 1-stop. They'll be going from mediums to hards, and I could have done that, but that's boring that way. On to lap 9 of the Grand Prix though, we're coming up to the back of Hulkenberg with a massive dive bomb in towards turn 2, but we made it stick, and also we managed to leapfrog Charles Leclerc in the stops, and that just shows the performance of an undercut, because we're now in front of Charles. Speaking of Charles now, onto lap 10 of the Grand Prix, here he comes again now for another attack on myself. I feel like I've been fighting Charles Leclerc so much in this season of career mode, it's ridiculous, but he tries it round turn 4. I decided no, because last time we did that we had contact, so I'm going to let him through on a straight, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So on to lap 10, lap 11 of the Grand Prix now, Charles going to have some DRS as well. Here he comes, just breezing through now, and I'm just going to try and follow Charles Leclerc, and obviously we've got a train of cars coming up with the Haas car, the Renault, and also the, I think it was a Racing Point, if I was no, it was a Sauber. So yeah, meanwhile, speaking of that, we have now caught up to it. This little pack. Charles Leclerc has passed it all. We've now got both the Red Bulls, the Gasly and Verstappen, right behind my back for good company now as we come onto the straight here with DRS enabled. You can see how little speed I am really carrying in this McLaren car today. But we're now going to go down the inside of Perez. Wasn't going to try it on Grosjean, but Grosjean locked up, so he banged wheels just a little bit there. But at the end of the day, that's your fault for locking up as we now go on through. That's Charles Leclerc in front of us again. He's going to blast off into the distance now. We did close, Charles did build a 3-second gap to us, and then eventually it dropped all the way down because of that. And now onto lap 20 of the Grand Prix here. We are coming in for our set of medium tyres, and we're going to take those to the end of the race. You can see, oh, Bottas is on the hards as well. So Hamilton, Vettel, and Bottas all running the hard tyres then in this Grand Prix. And we've now also built ourselves, I believe it's a 5-second gap over the Red Bulls as well. So the Red Bulls, they were closing me down. They were fast in the middle stint. But eventually then, once I got past the Renault car of Perez and also the Haas car of Grosjean, both those two Red Bulls, they just couldn't pass them. And that really played into my hands, because now, of course, I can build that advantage, which I had done. And as you can see here, we're coming out of the pits now, rejoining in P12, which is very nice for us. Up the road is Magnussen and also the Alfa Romeo car of Raikkonen. Speaking of that Alfa car, we are now trying to blast our way past the Alfa car. On the straight here, we've actually run out of ERS. I've been actually cheekily, because it was only me and Charles Leclerc that were going for the 2-stop that I knew of. I was actually trying to get fastest lap in this race, because Hamilton and Vettel and Bottas, I didn't assume would go for it on their older hard tyres. So on to lap 23 to start lap 24. Charles Leclerc sets a new fastest lap for 120.7. I then come across the line and set a 120.6. Only 1/10 of a second faster, but obviously as you can see, I've ran out of fuel and I've also ran out of ERS here. And we also ran out of laps as well. So Vettel has won the Grand Prix here today. We're also going for another attempt at fastest lap. I saved up fuel, saved up ERS, tried to go again here, but it is going to be another fabulous race, and it's a new fastest lap as well, and it is P5 in the Hungarian Grand Prix. And for the first time ever in F1 2019 for myself, I've actually gone ahead and I also claimed the fastest lap point there as well. That was kind of really what my aim was in this race, but from starting second on the grid, we kind of got the dose of reality that we were looking for. Both Ferraris and Mercedes are a class ahead of us. We managed to beat Red Bull around the Hungaroring, which was quite insane, because they've still got a better aero and chassis pack than us. We just have a better straight line speed, because that's all I've been focusing on this year. Yeah, really competitive race. Verstappen finishes down in P7. I do believe that Max actually had some damage to his front wing. Gasly was the closest rival to me, and in that front I wasn't really worried because it's Gasly. I seem to roast him every episode, but it's necessary. So there, as you can see then, Vettel once again wins for Ferrari. They just can't stop winning Ferrari at the moment. They're on an absolute roll right now. And Mercedes are going to really need to buckle up their ideas if they're going to get anywhere near the prancing horses. But yeah, overall, pace was really, really solid. I was able to keep my main rivals behind me as per usual. And like I said, it was only me and Charles that were having a choose at the fastest lap. And as you can see, we picked up 11 points rather than 10 for my first ever fastest lap point. But like I said, obviously Charles was about a tenth of a second slower, but I don't even know if he was using any high engine modes. Like, I literally went under my fuel and I was using hot lap all the way around the lap just to try and get it, and I literally went absolutely crazy. In the driver's standings though, so Vettel leads the championship by 33 points. 81 points separates both Charles Leclerc and Bottas. I'm then 106 points now. I think I'm 10 points clear of Verstappen, if I'm correct. Yeah, 10 points clear of Max in the championship. So he's my main competitor for this season. In the Constructors' Championship, Ferrari lead Mercedes by 33 points. Red Bull 240 points back. McLaren 290 points back. I don't really expect to beat Red Bull this year. I just think the competitiveness of both Gasly and Verstappen is too much for just me to handle. It's weird because, like, my pace is insane, but Norris just isn't. For some reason, I didn't beat the team goal of 24 points in the championship. I don't know how many races I was meant to have that, but in Germany I would have scored, like, I don't know. Anyway, we do have a contract negotiation to go through. And this actually didn't turn out to be that good. It actually dropped me from level 3, level 3, level 3, level 1 to level 1 on all purposes here. So I tried to renegotiate it because I knew obviously how simple this can be, but I went way above the value that I initially had. So I then tried to drop it again. So I set the team goals to hard. I then increased my race position to P7, increased my qualifying position to P10, and then I tried to negotiate that. That also didn't work as well. So now I was in a bit of a problem here. What do I actually do to try and get this across? So I decided to do 3 upgrades per department, try and negotiate that one, and it failed. So I ran out of negotiation attempts. First time I've ever done that. So now I have to fall back on the team's initial offer, which is level 1, level 2, none. Second driver. Not a good contract. But at the end of the day, I tried to negotiate and the negotiations fell short. Anyway, guys, if you have enjoyed today's episode, feel free to drop it a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. Really do appreciate all the support recently on the channel. It's been absolutely amazing. And until then, guys, I will see you for the next episode, which is going to be the Belgian Grand Prix. We've got a chassis upgrade coming, weight reduction upgrades, and also a major engine upgrade coming. But until then, take care all.